Welcome. It's great to be with you today. What I want to talk about today is our core safety rules and practices. But before I do that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your commitment to incident and injury free. Thank you for your commitment to everyone going home safe each and every day. Because of that commitment you've made, we have done a tremendous job over the past few years to reduce injuries within Terracon. In fact, over the past few years, the rate at which people are being injured in the company has been reduced by 2/3. So again, thank you for all you've accomplished. In 2014, we introduced our core safety rules and practices. The purpose of those rules and practices is to avoid the most common and systematic hazards that we face within the company. What's important, and not just is about the rules and practices, but how they were developed. How they were developed is by a group of people from throughout the company, from technicians to senior managers, coming together, looking at what we do as a company and what are the common hazards that we face and how can we systematically make ourselves more prepared to avoid those hazards. So that's how our rules and practices were put in place. What's also important as it relates to IIF is this idea of continuous improvement. Just like we are continuously improving how safe we are as a company, it's also important to relook from time to time at our rules and practices. So that starting this past fall, a group of people, again, your peers, people at all levels of the company, came together to look at our core safety rules and practices. Based on that, they are recommending a number of changes, and those changes were looked at also by the senior level IIF leadership team and have been adopted for the company and to move forward. The rules and practice have changed in 4 specific ways. First is that a number of the rules and practices had minor edits, just for clarification, based on questions that have come up and comments that we've received. The second is that the use of driver safety cones has been moved from a practice to a rule. The third is that we've adopted a new practice around warm up for work as we've introduced that into the company. And then fourth, and the most highest impact change that we've made, is to change the rule around the use of hands-free cell phone use to one that prohibits cell phone use of any kind, including hands-free use. Clearly, the prohibition of the use of cell phone is a big change within the company. And I first want to upfront acknowledge that, especially initially here, it does have operational impact. It's things that we're going to have to adapt and change and work through. So why did we do it? The reason why we did it simply is it's compelling. It's just something we have to do. And why is that? A couple things. First, let's just talk about the driving in general. Driving in general is, even though we do it every day, we're accustomed to it and so on, it is inherently a dangerous thing. And put it in the context of the work environment, if you look at Terracon and our actual experience over the past 5 years, and look at the top 20 most severe injuries in the company, 8 of them, which is 40%, were due to driving. And again, I'm not saying here that they were due to distracted driving or use of cell phones. What I'm just illustrating is the inherent danger associated with driving. So that's certainly a key point and a key context. The second, in terms of cell phone use, if you look at the latest research and you really dig into it, what it really comes down to is cell phone use is equivalent to drunk driving. And again, let me explain that in more detail. We're all familiar with drunk driving and with the way it works. It's a physical impairment in terms of your ability to both recognize hazards and react to hazards while you're driving. And we know that it can be severe. In terms of a social issue, drunk driving is a major social issue. We've all been impacted, either family, relatives, friends, about the issue of drunk driving. I'm not trying to make a comparison between the social issue of drunk driving and cell phone use. What I am will make the comparison, and what the research shows is that drunk driving and cell phone use is comparable, Drunk driving is a physical impairment. Use of cell phone is a mental or cognitive impairment that has the same effect. In fact, the research shows that hand use of cell phone is equivalent to 0.08 blood alcohol, which is in most states the legal limit for for drunk driving. And that hands-free use of cell phones is actually 50% higher. It's 1.12 equivalent blood alcohol in terms of impairment. And the impairment is around our ability to recognize hazards and react to hazards. So that's the research, and as we've dug into this, it really is compelling. And to not adopt this as a rule and practice is simply not consistent with our commitment to incident and injury free. Cell phone use is really part of a broader topic, which is the topic of distracted driving. This is something we have been introducing in the company as a topic and putting out various educational materials. What I want to make clear is that it's not our intent to extend our rules and practices into other aspects of distracted driving, not to try to police all aspects of distracted driving, but what we will do is to continue to educate on the topic of distracted driving, cell phone use being a particular systematic one that we need to deal with, and beyond that there are other aspects that it's important as well. So we will educate about those. What I'm asking today is for you to make a personal commitment to become more aware of the topic of distracted driving, to educate yourself on that topic, and make a personal commitment to avoid distracted driving of any type while you are on company business, and we certainly want you to extend that into your personal life. I'd like to finish by just saying again, thank you. Thank you for making our core safety rules and practices part of who we are as a company and how we operate. And even more broadly, your commitment to everybody going home safe every day to their families. It is what you are doing is making a difference. I am particularly proud of the accomplishments that each of you are making and we are making as a company to make Terracon a safe place to work. Thank you.